Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Women fined $100,000, face potential jail time, just for braiding hair. The state of Tennessee has recently begun cracking down on residents who would dare braid someone's hair without first paying the government for the privilege of doing so. By Matt Agarist, March 19, 2018. In the state of Tennessee, braiding hair without first paying thousands of dollars and attending hundreds of hours of courses can and will get you hit with thousands of dollars in fines. If you do not pay these fines, rest assured that you can and will be thrown in jail. What's more, as the case below illustrates, even if you have a license, you are still not immune from the fines. Fatou Diouf has been braiding hair for her entire life. She became so good at it that she jumped through all the legal hoops, sat through hundreds of hours of needless classes, and paid thousands of dollars so she could finally turn this passion into a career. I never did any other job but hair braiding my whole life, Diouf told the Institute for Justice. I cannot recall a time when I did not know how. However, because the state is dependent on revenue it generates from citizens via taxation or extortion, the Tennessee government has begun cracking down on hair braiders. As the IJ reports, in recent years, Tennessee has forced Fatou to pay a staggering $16,000 in fines, simply because she employed workers who did not have a government license to braid hair. Nor is she alone. After examining meeting minutes and disciplinary actions for the Tennessee Board of Cosmetology and Barber Examiners, the Institute for Justice has identified nearly $100,000 in fines levied against dozens of braiders and more than 30 different natural hair shops and salons since 2009. All of those violations were for unlicensed braiding, none were triggered by any health or sanitation violation. Normally, the state would only target unlicensed braiders who dared to make a living out of their homes without first paying the government for permission. However, they are now targeting folks like Fatou who allow braiders to work in their establishments without first paying the government. It's not as easy as simply paying the government for the privilege of braiding hair either. In order not to be fined thousands of dollars by the state for braiding hair, you must attend and complete a course that is at least 300 hours long and costs anywhere between $1,500 and $5,000 for tuition. With her years of experience, completing the classes required for a state license was mostly a waste of my time, Fatou recalled, according to the IJ. We don't need 300 hours to know how to wash a clip or a comb. To illustrate the ridiculous nature of such a course to braid hair, consider the fact that, in some instances, less training is required to be a police officer in the state as they only need 500 hours while some of the cosmetology courses are upwards of 1,000 hours. The extortion has become such a problem that even some lawmakers are speaking out and proposing legislation to end it. By deregulating natural hair training, people could open up their own business without a natural hairstyle license, Representative Antonio Parkinson of Memphis said of TN House Bill 1809, proposed by the Department of Commerce and Insurance that deregulates the natural hair industry. As the IJ reports. Even more ironically, some of the bill's loudest opponents have actually come from licensed natural hair stylists, who claim the license is necessary to protect the public. Yet according to testimony by McCormick, there have been only 2 health and safety complaints against natural hair stylists since 2010. In fact, the department has opened more than 200 administrative complaints for unlicensed activity where we have seen no sanitation violations, he said. That's actually more than we have licensees currently with the department. Those findings are further borne out by a 2016 report from the Institute for Justice, which analyzed complaints filed against braiders in states that have a separate license for natural hair care. Across 7 years and 10 jurisdictions, just 9 complaints with health and safety issues were received for unlicensed braiders, the report concluded. Further, none of the complaints alleging consumer harm were verified by licensing boards. Indeed, the entire premise of extorting people over hair braiding has nothing to do with actual safety and everything to do with generating revenue.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Today is Monday, January 29th, and this is the Cosmetology and Barber Examiners Board meeting, and we are going to get started with the Legal Committee, and I will turn it over to the attorney, Pamela Spicer. It's all yours.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Pam. Hello.
I know you all received the legal report in advance, and you see that number 37 is marked for discussion, so I know that we need to talk about that one.
Are there any others you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't have any that I need to discuss other than the last one.
I just had one question,
Okay.
and it had to do with two cases. The first is case 18 on page 6, and the other
Okay.
is similar. Let me see if I can find it. Is 35? 35, or similar, maybe not 35. It had to do with the license being expired, which I know is a $100 fine.
Correct.
But then in this case, especially, or on 18, the other one, yeah, 18, the unlicensed individual is also the manager.
Correct.
Is that why it's an additional $500?
Correct on both of those.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to clarify that that was why.
Yes.
Thank you.
And let me know when you all are ready to discuss 37.
Go ahead. Case number 20, it says that they're alleging an out-of-state school. Have we noted that one for reciprocity? I'm worried about, that we make a note of that school name so that if we're receiving reciprocity from that school.
Without a doubt, it has been very hairy for us. So yes, what we are doing is until the investigation is complete, we are not accepting those hours at all. So those individuals are getting a letter that says the school in Georgia is under investigation, and until it is complete, we cannot accept the hours. We're keeping a running list of those reciprocal, and mostly those students are actually coming to test in Tennessee because we have the availability of testing in 2 other languages. They're leaving Georgia to come and test here. I have spoken to the investigator, and we've gone back and forth a few times. And so we may not have a report for another 2 to 3 months. Once we do, we will then conclude and go back to all those individuals either with a definite, this is denied because the investigation proved this. And then this would be the individual's license, I believe, that also was part of the allegation.
Georgia not offer the test?
They do not.
I mean,
actually
in other
spoke
languages.
to their state board, and I don't think they have any intentions either. So they're impacted by this because a lot of their students are coming here for the 2 languages we've approved. So
Case 36, was this person just advertising for services, or how are they promoting that? Do you know?
When I reviewed the complaint, we don't have probably enough proof for me to go forward. And based on the fact that now it appears I can't find the individual, in other words, and I don't know that he was advertising or he was just saying, I'm going to barber school. So I feel like it would be basically impossible to go forward with litigation on this particular one. But I do think since he's in barber school, a letter of instruction is appropriate in case he was attempting to advertise something, like he was going to provide a service.
And you got 36 out of the way.
37 is a school. They do have some significant history. They have similar violations in the past, specifically in 2005. There was broken equipment in 2015. They were also cited for sanitary violations, no hot water, no running water. At that time, they received a $2,000 civil penalty. So here's where we are now. The inspector went back out in August of 2017, found that, you know, the workstations were missing, shampoo bowl and sanitary trash overflowing, no door in the restroom, and mattress in the classroom. We have photographs. Obviously, we need to assess a civil penalty, but I thought it would be better marked for discussion to decide what that civil penalty should be. We can obviously cite $500 for each violation, or we can cite more because they've already received one $2,000 civil penalty back in 2015.
Shut it down?
Well, that is probably what could also be discussed. They do have a significant history of similar violations. The board could obviously vote to revoke their school license. I would have to obviously have a hearing on that, but that could be the recommendation. Or we can increase the civil penalty to $4,000, do $1,000 per each violation. I do want you all to know that the school did not respond to the allegations.
They've already paid $2,000, and they'll probably just pay the $4,000 and move the mattress from the classroom to the bathroom with the no door on it. I think we got enough of that in this industry that if we permit this, we're promoting it. I'm going to recommend we shut it down.
I agree.
So the recommendation is to revoke the school license.
Based on this information and it being a second, look, we all make mistakes and need second chances. They got that. And,
Right.
I think they totally disrespected the industry and the board itself. And I don't think that's a mistake. I think that's just an out-and-out non-care. That way, and if they're going to do it that way, I don't think it should be under our supervision.
And again, that's why I wanted to mark it for discussion, because I don't know how many students.
That'll be an important consideration, is how many students that are going to be affected, and paperwork otherwise in order in case those students have to.
And their hours and paperwork is in order. I don't think it's a school with a large population of students, but nevertheless, if it's licensed by us, tomorrow that could change and they could have 20 sign up or 30. And so I think the no door and the mattress in the school that you're pointing out to really opens up an entire area of concern.
That's somebody's children going to that school. And if that's the kind of environment they're being put in, I wouldn't want to be associated with it. For the welfare of the public, not just me personally.
Let me say this as well. If the board votes to revoke today, obviously I still have to go forward with a hearing, which means they continue to operate until such time that we have the hearing. Or if the board deems that there is a health, safety, welfare issue, I can notify them of a summary suspension. We would have to have a hearing as well on the summary suspension, but that obviously, that track moves a lot faster than a revocation hearing.
I would just say that I think this is, even if it's our recommendation, we would bring it to the complete board today, right? Later.
Yes, yes.
And then I would just go with council's recommendation
Okay.
at that point.
Has anyone been back since August? I mean, they continue to be open for an additional 6 months.
Correct, not that I know of. I don't have any information that an inspector has been back.
Any complaints from their students?
Not that I have. So that,
They're kind of willingly going along with the program, however it is. Okay.
I think I'm even more in favor of putting the school on suspension immediately, and getting more information, especially if they haven't responded to any of this.
Yes, and usually the schools do respond. So I did think it was important to bring this for discussion and let you all know that they did not respond to the complaint.
A lack of response kind of indicates that they really don't care, don't have the respect for their business or for the requirements.
They don't worry about what happens to the students either.
Well, and as this is part of the field inspection, that means that it isn't that you missed something in the mail, right? It's the field inspectors leaving you with a notice that this inspection did not go well. There were a lot of things found here and repeated things, and the inspector's note of very unsanitary is kind of a step further than just a concern for unsanitary.
And while sometimes sanitary could be subjective, there are specific violations noted in this complaint. So what we can do is bring it to the full board for discussion and a vote on. My concern is the school would continue to operate now. I guess your point was they have been operating since August, and we don't have any information. There's been no new complaints filed. But with a revocation, it could be a few months before I could have a hearing before an administrative law judge on a revocation. It could even be 6 months. Right now, we only have dates through the 1st of March, and I have to give so much notice to the school. A summary suspension could obviously be heard a lot faster. And then we could still proceed forward with a revocation later. So I think that the recommendation probably should be, if we are concerned about the sanitation of the school and the other violations, to go forward with a summary suspension and then set it for revocation at a later date.
My concern, I think, is the same as everyone has mentioned, that they've already been through this once. And while I understand everyone is able to make mistakes, and certainly we all do, making them again and again is not okay.
Correct.
Don't have anything else?
It's almost 9:15, then we...
County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too, because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me, and I'm sick of it. So I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it, you know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now, you know, $1 a day, I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head, help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.